Go. Declan O'Rourke's soulful music, rooted in folk and trad, and his 5 albums have attracted high praise. Now, John Sheehan of the Dubliners said, after 50 years, I've decided it's time to put a lid on the Dubliners, but I'm sure you'll agree that Declan and Damien Dempsey, the future is in good hands. You have a chance now to see Declan O'Rourke at one of our favourite intimate venues, Bush Hall, 310 Oxford Road, West 12, on the 30th of July. You can book at bushhallmusic.co.uk. I'm delighted now to welcome Declan to tell us what to expect on the night. Declan, a very good morning.
How are you keeping, Jerry? Good to talk to you.
Same as that. Declan, I'm delighted to speak to you. Now, currently we're bringing details of Christy Moore and Paul Brady concerts. Now, Paul Brady describes you as a most talented singer-songwriter, possessing a rich, soulful musical voice and brilliant instrumental ability, while Christy Moore covers your song Lightning Bird, Wind River Man on the latest album. Now, their appreciation of what you're doing must be gratifying.
It keeps you going. It's good endorsement, yeah. When you hear from somebody who's been around as long as those guys have, they've seen it all come and go. So if they say you're good, it feels very nice,
I would well believe it. Now, turning to your own latest album in full colour, you're accompanied by the 50-piece RTE concert orchestra, and it features the single Children of 16. Now, we carried many pieces on the centenary with the Children of 16 project. Is very special. Can you briefly describe how you got involved and what it entails?
Yeah, well, Joe Duffy, who's one of our national broadcasters here, he got in touch with me, and we came from the same hometown of Ballyfermot, Dublin, actually, and he got in touch with me and asked me if I would get involved and sing something at a commemorative ceremony he was putting together for 40 children who had been killed during the Easter Rising in 1916. And they were children who had largely been forgotten, and names were lost in time and history. But leading up to the whole thing, there was a lot of talk about, celebrating the proclamation, and that mentioned children an awful lot, the children of our nation, and so he felt it was very important that we were going to celebrate that we had to acknowledge these children and find out who they were. There were civilian children killed in the crossfire. They were shot from bullets on both sides, and almost all of them had no funeral services. They were buried in a mass grave, along with soldiers and civilians who were killed under curfew,
Okay.
One person would be allowed to accompany the bodies to the graveyards and that. So this was a multi-denominational service being put together to commemorate them back in 2014, and I ended up playing at that, and then another one in 2015, and then of course we had many events last year. But for the first one, he asked me to sing at it, and I said I'd love to, and it felt like a lovely thing to be involved in a multi-denominational ceremony. And we kind of discussed what to sing and realised that there was no song that was appropriate, and so he kind of hinted at me to write a song, and I loved taking up the challenge, and this was the result.
Excellent. Now we'll be playing that song in a moment. Now, you're quoted as saying that when you were writing the song in a short time scale, that you were actually sleepwalking between the piano and guitar.
Yeah, well, normally I could take months or years on various songs. You can have lots of songs on the go, but they generally take a long time just chipping away. But I had only 10 days to do this one before the service, and so it was very fast, and I was kind of thinking about it constantly, and first thing in the morning, last thing at night, which is normal enough, but in such a condensed period of time, I didn't even know what instrument it was going to be on. It was all very fast and a bit of a whirlwind.
I
But it was
bet.
a nice place to be in.
Yes. No, we will take a listen, as I said, to Children of 16 in a moment. A reminder that people can see you, an opportunity to hear you perform live, 30th of July at Bush Hall in West London. Now, we'll also feature Galileo and Sleeve Bloom this weekend and next. Now, it seems you have an incredibly strong work ethic. Tell us about your collection due out in October, Chronicles of the Great Irish Famine, the culmination of actually 15 years' commitments.
Oh, thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I started a kind of a project in around 2000 or 2001, I think it was. I learned that my granddad was born in a workhouse. I didn't know what that meant at the time, and when I tried to find out what a workhouse was, and did some research, I discovered that it was kind of something to do with the famine, and basically, the more I read about it, it turned out there were 131 of these buildings built around the country for the famine in the couple of years leading up to and during the famine. And but just learning that alone, and then reading some stories about the famine in these books, some personal first-hand accounts, became the catalyst for this whole collection of songs, because realistically, we didn't learn much about it in school, and it was a really moving thing to begin to learn about, and some of the stories of our ancestors, and many of these stories, it seemed, I'd never come across them before. Certainly, there's very little music about the famine, very little song in our canon, if you like. You have like the Fields of Athenry, which is a great song, of course, but there are very few songs about it, and I really felt that some of these stories just needed to be told, and obviously music is the best way I know how to do that. So I kind of set out to write a collection of songs about it with these stories, and it took a lot of years of reading and twisting about until I could have a collection that kind of created a wide overview of, I suppose, trying to give a sense of what it must have been like to live through that period.
Indeed. Now, almost the last word, Declan, goes to Paul Weller, who said Galileo was the only song from this past 20 years that he'd wished he'd written. What a tribute.
Very kind of him. Yeah, he's been lovely. Lovely man. I've met him a few times and opened a few shows for him. Sorry, by the way, I have to apologise for my voice being a bit tired. I had a show late last night. I didn't get home till late. But anyway, he was he was kind enough to say that, and then he moved it to 25 years, a few years after that, and recently 30 years.
Okay.
This was on a desert island distance. So we're hoping that we might get the 50 out of it one day, if he lasts long enough.
No, Declan, it's going to be a great night at Bush Hall, where people can hear your back catalogue on new material, I should say, which sounds a real labour of love. Now, we'd love to feature tracks from the new album in the autumn. Looking forward to that. Meanwhile, you can book at bushhallmusic.co.uk to see Declan O'Rourke in concert, 7:30 Sunday, 30th of July. Details on our website, irishradio.org. Declan, listen, enjoy your return to Bush Hall, and we hope that many will come out in force to see you. It's been lovely speaking to you.
Thank you very, very much, Sherry. Have a great weekend, and we look forward to next weekend. We'll be playing all kinds of songs of it, not just the new ones. So, thanks very, very much, and talk to you again.
Declan, thank you very much indeed.
Bye-bye.
100 years ago, the rebels led a rising from the city's GPO. Brave heroes and their enemies fell, civilians in between. and among the dead and fallen were the children of 16. Those children of the tenement slums who daily with their pals a brazen wild brigade sprang up between the two canals. With their handcarts over cobbled stone, they rattled skid and toe, barefooted as they scavenged through the crossfire and the goal. Oh, war zone of the capital, the bombs and shelling made, and snipers' bullets pierced and whipped the sulphured April haze. There was fighting from the Union to the mill above the green, and it made a great excitement for the children of 16. Bloody toll, but through their blood and martyrdom, Republic soon was born. High aloft its streets and buildings now, their names can ne'er be seen, but still missing from the page are the children